Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another version of the TravelMole COVID-19 interviews. And I'm delighted today to have a man that some years ago pulled himself out of the comfy, cozy home of the Northeast, took himself overseas to become a rep, came back to the UK after some adventures in the, in the Mediterranean, and came up, contrary to popular opinion, I believe, he actually came up with the idea of holiday taxis and founded the company some years ago and has recently exited from that. But several years ago came up with the idea of hangout on holidays. And that man, of course, is Paul Stanyer. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Graham.
And how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm getting more optimistic about the signs of return to travel. I think 12 weeks ago, if you'd asked me the question, would anybody be traveling this summer? I was pretty negative about the whole thing. I just didn't think it would happen, but it looks like there are many positive signs taking place, and hopefully within the next few weeks, we shall see the industry start to return to some sort of travel arrangement.
Good. Tell me a little bit more about Hangout on Holidays and on what it actually is. I know that essentially it's an app that people will carry around on their phone or on their laptop or their iPad, but what actually is it?
Okay, so in simple terms, it's a bespoke travel app that we provide for tour operators, for travel agents or OTAs or home working divisions, for hotel chains or individual hotels, and for local DMCs. And the ultimate aim is to give their customer an enhanced holiday experience. And there are three main areas of the app that aim to do that. The first is resort content. So we aggregate content in resorts people are traveling to all over the world. And when I say content, I mean, places, bars, restaurants, beaches. So find the best beaches. And off the beaten track stuff. Quite often when you go on holiday, you find some of the best places on the last day, which you wish you'd found on the first day. So our aim is to try and help people discover more things that are available in their destination. The second thing is a communication channel that allows operators to talk to their customers via their reps or via head office staff via the live chat platforms. So everybody has access to whoever their travel arranger is, whoever their rep is, and equally they have live chat access to all of the places I just mentioned in resort. So what we do is we push everybody together in a resort and we allow them to communicate very easily by live chat, which works the same as WhatsApp or Messenger, where if you send a message, somebody gets a pop-up on their phone to answer the question that you've asked. And the third part of the app is a commercial platform which allows tour operators or any travel arranger really to sell in resort services. So that might be car rental, it might be excursions or experiences, I think it's the buzzword now in the industry, or local events. How much of that will happen this year, we'll have to wait and see a little bit longer, obviously because of social distancing. Some of the events that previously would have run may not operate this year in many places. So they're the three key things that we aim to offer.
So had you had this app when you were a rep, you'd now be a single-figure handicap golfer, would you? You'd have just been sitting on just knocking the balls up the fairways and answering questions on your phone.
Well, I think absolutely I would have been, because what it does for a tour operator, if we kind of take the different sectors and just highlight what we can do for each one. For a tour operator, it allows the rep to effectively manage multiple resorts, sitting in a coffee bar or on the beach. I probably shouldn't say that, but in a coffee bar, for example. And I think the days of welcome meetings are almost over. I mean, there was poor attendances, I think, reported by many tour operators, and it's not really required because you can put your welcome meeting actually inside the app, so the customer can actually see the resort. They can see the rep. They can see all the things that the company wants to tell them about the resort ahead of travel. So there's no need for that mass gathering of people. And duty hours as well. The days of reps sitting in hotel receptions waiting for people to turn up at times that don't usually suit their customers. I think those days are over when, again, it's not needed. People are used to digital experiences. They're used to messenger style apps. So why not have all your reps on the end of a telephone that can answer any requests from customers, whether the rep is in the hotel or not? And I think that's absolutely going to be the way forward. And what that does, it gives the customer better access to the rep, because it's not just for the 30 minutes they might be sitting in the hotel reception. And it gives the customer, basically access to the rep when it suits them, when they have a question or when they have a need or requirement. They could be sitting by the pool and effectively arranging their holiday. Can you book me a car? Can you book me on a trip? Can you talk to reception for me about something else? So I really think the digital way of communicating via these apps is something that tour operators should and could look at. I know some do, but many don't.
And what currently is the barrier, if you like, to you entering these markets? Is it a reluctance on behalf of the tour operators, or is it reluctance on the part of the holidaymaker to subscribe to some roaming fee? What are the inhibitants, if you like?
Well, I don't think there are any these days. I think the roaming fees largely have gone, certainly across Mediterranean destinations. And, even if you travel further afield, I know when I travel with my kids, if we're going, to the States or the Caribbean, I switch their data roaming off at Gatwick, and they're only allowed to use their phones when they got Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi is so readily available now that I don't think that is a barrier, certainly for the end user to enjoy the service. For tour operators, I think sometimes they don't see this as core, as part of their core business. So they don't perhaps, make it as prominent as they could. But the barrier to entry is very small. I mean, we've got a low-cost entry on our app, which allows operators to actually feature within the Hangout and Holiday app. So that reduces the actual cost of building a bespoke app. Now, we do build bespoke apps as well. So we have TUI's Destination Services, who are global DMC. They use our app as a bespoke product. So they have their own app in the App Store using our technology. We're just now building one for Party Hard Travel, and we've got quite a few others in the queue. Now, that takes a little bit longer and is a little bit more expensive. But as I said, we've still got the low-cost option where we can add any tour operator, any OTA, any DMC, and any hotel within our own app, where once the customer selects that brand, it disappears off into their own space within the app with their own bespoke program, with their own content, and with their own trips and car rental service providers.
Do you think perversely that although in the short term it's obviously not good news for anybody in any way stretch of the imagination, but the fact that we're having this conversation now, which we probably wouldn't have done had it been for the COVID-19 crisis, do you think perversely that may be a boost for the use of your application? I don't mean just because you don't want to get close to the rep, but because people will become more used to using their phones, using things like Zoom, etc., etc.
That's a good question. Well, if it wasn't for lockdown, we certainly wouldn't be having this conversation. Will more people use it? That remains to be seen. I mean, we had, prior to lockdown, we were in about 20 different discussions with different sectors from the industry about adopting our technology. And we hope the same 20 go on to do something with us in the future. Will it encourage more? It may do. Time will tell. But I think by having the platform to be able to explain what the app does, then hopefully, it will encourage more people, because ultimately, the tour operator, the travel agent, the arranger, the customer responsibility should be the key priority. And one of the things we've built into the platform during lockdown, in addition to all the two-way live chat channels, is a one-way broadcast notification system that, God forbid, should there be a second wave of COVID, or should there be an airline failure or an operator failure in the future, it allows us or the operator to effectively locate and inform people who are overseas. So we can send bespoke and specific messages to people in different destinations. So, if there's a problem in Spain, for example, we can send one message to all customers that have checked in on the app to alert them of anything that might be happening in that particular destination. So if we can provide that as a service and people want to use that, then perversely, yeah, we're very happy about that. Yeah.
So that's where we stand at the moment. Is there future developments? Is there a developments on the horizon that you think will enhance the product, enhance your general services, if you like, both to the public and to those sector of the market you've mentioned already, such as tour operators, DMCs, etc.?
Yeah, there are a couple of things that we're working on. The most immediate thing that we probably will push out in the next couple of weeks is a specific hotel app that will allow hotels to feature their products or their properties, within a specific Hangout Hotels app. And the reason we've gone down that road is we've been contacted by a few hotels independently in the last couple of weeks who are looking at their social distancing strategies. And what we've already developed is a system whereby a customer could check into a hotel, they could check in their date range, and once they've done that, they immediately can talk to any of the services within the hotel via the app. So they can talk to reception, they can talk to concierge, they can talk to the beach bar, the water sports, the spa, and they can ask questions while they're sitting by the pool. So they don't need to travel around the hotel. So it does reduce traffic within the hotel. The hotel have the opportunity to broadcast messages to customers, to post their event timetable up, and to maximize in-house revenue, because if they are running their spas this summer, you can put a broadcast out to say, look, the spa's empty this afternoon, 20% off the first 5 people who respond to this message. So that's one of the things we're looking to push out, because we think that will be a great tool for both hoteliers and for customers checking in, to give them additional security, that they're not wandering around some of these properties. And even from a relaxation point of view, some of these properties are huge. You look at something like Casa de Campo, it's a massive place. 700 acres of land? 7,000 acres, yeah. To be able to talk to anybody from an app via a live chat platform within that complex is a fantastic asset for the customer. One other thing on the horizon, and we don't think we'll have this out until early next year, will be a dynamic app builder. So what we're aiming to do. Still there?
I'm here.
What we're aiming to do, rather than have operators and hoteliers have their content and their product inside one of our apps, we're going to build an online dynamic app builder, where any travel arranger, whether it's a tour operator, again, a travel agent, a local DMC, they can go onto the website, they can bespoke an app for their product and mirror it to their destinations. So they can choose their destinations, they can add their resort descriptions, or they can choose from a repository that we will have in the platform. And they can start adding content. So, their favorite bars or some of the bars or restaurants that we happen to have in the repository. They can add their own trips, or they can choose from our trips. They can add their own car rental provider, or they can choose from ours. And that will allow us, instead of taking a month at the moment to produce an individual bespoke app, we'll be able to produce an app in a matter of hours. So that will allow us to take great strides forward. And these apps, they're not massively expensive, even now, to have some real estate inside our own app. If it's a one resort or one hotel, property, we can do it for as little as €100 setup fee and €100 a month maintenance fee. So we're looking at low-cost ways to allow travel arrangers to connect with their customers, to showcase resorts and tell them all the great things, but equally, if there's a problem, to be able to alert their customers and talk to them in a very efficient way.
Good. Well, thank you very much for your time, Paul. It's been fascinating talking to you, as always. Just to clarify once and for all, this was your idea, hang out on holidays?
I was waiting for something like that. Yes, it was.
Good. Well done. Well, I wish you the very, very best of luck. Perhaps we can talk again in maybe 6 months' time to see how the implementation and how the usage of the product is being taken up in the field, so to speak. But once again, Paul Stanyer, thank you very much.
Thanks, Graham. Enjoy the chat.
Cheers.